Welcome to Faith Financial. Here we give you insights on faith and financial services beneficial to you. Our health, the most precious asset we own, often comes with a price tag attached. Health insurance and pharmaceuticals play a critical role in our lives, often acting as the safety net that catches us when we stumble. They provide us with a sense of security, a promise that our well-being is looked after, even during the most trying times. But what if I told you there's more to this picture than meets the eye? Yes, insurance policies and medications can be life-saving. They can help us navigate through health crises, ensuring we receive the care we need without plunging into financial ruin. In a perfect world, this would be the complete story. But unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world, do we? Beneath the surface of these life-saving industries, there exists a shadowy underbelly, often unseen and unheard. A realm where profits take precedence over the health and well-being of people. A realm where the very institutions we trust, the ones we believe have our best interests at heart, could be exploiting us in ways we never imagined. You might be asking, how can this be? Aren't these industries regulated? Don't they have our best interests at heart? Well, in theory, yes, but in practice, the reality can be quite different. The mechanisms of these industries are complex, often shrouded in technical jargon and fine print that the average person struggles to understand. And it is within this complexity, this maze of unfamiliar words and concepts, that the darker side of health insurance and pharmaceuticals thrives. Here, loopholes are exploited, and unethical practices often go unchecked. The result? The average person, you and me, end up paying the price, both financially and health-wise. But what happens when the very institutions we trust with our health become the ones we should be wary of? Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this undercover exposé, unveiling the dark side of health insurance and pharma. Insurance, a safety net for many, but is there more to it than meets the eye? When we think about health insurance, we tend to imagine it as a protective shield, a buffer against unexpected medical costs. However, the unseen side of health insurance often paints a different picture. Among the myriad of insurance companies, there are some that exploit loopholes and fine print to sidestep their responsibilities. These companies are not the guardians they proclaim to be, rather they act like a wolf in sheep's clothing. Let's delve deeper into these practices. Have you ever noticed the extensive fine print on your policy document? That's where the devil is in the detail. Some insurance providers cleverly craft these terms and conditions to create an escape hatch, a way for them to wriggle out of paying claims, leaving policyholders high and dry. The terms may include clauses about pre-existing conditions, waiting periods, and exclusions that are often overlooked by policyholders. And when the time comes to make a claim, these hidden details surface, leaving the insured stranded and burdened with medical bills they thought would be covered. Then there's the issue of premium hikes. It's not uncommon for policyholders to see their premiums increase year after year, even if they haven't made a claim. These hikes are often justified under the guise of increasing medical costs. But the question that arises is, are these increases proportionate, or are they just another way for insurance companies to squeeze more money out of their customers? And let's not forget the lengthy and complex claims process. For someone dealing with a health crisis, navigating this process can be daunting and stressful. It's no wonder many give up midway, leaving the insurance companies to pocket the savings. So we see that while health insurance can indeed be a safety net, it's not always as straightforward as it seems. The unseen side of health insurance is a world of fine print, loopholes, and bureaucratic red tape. It's clear that not all insurance providers have our best interests at heart, but that's not where the story ends. The pharmaceutical industry, a beacon of hope for many, but does it hide a sinister side? A question that many of us have pondered as we look at the towering giants of healthcare. Beneath the glossy surface of breakthroughs and life-saving drugs, there's a murkier reality that often goes unnoticed. Today we're taking a stroll down the dark alley of pharmaceuticals. Let's start with price gouging. Picture this. You're diagnosed with a life-threatening illness, and there's a drug that could save you. But the price is sky high, so much so that it's out of reach for many. This isn't an imaginary scenario, it's happening right now, in our own backyard. Life-saving drugs with price tags that could make your heart skip a beat. The reason? Well, pharmaceutical companies cite research and development costs. But often it's a case of because they can. Next, let's talk about unethical marketing. It's not uncommon for pharmaceutical companies to promote their drugs for uses not approved by health authorities. This is known as off-label marketing, and it's a dangerous game. Patients are put at risk, and healthcare professionals are misled, all in the name of profit. That's not all. There's also the matter of suppressing unfavorable research. When a new drug is being developed, it goes through a series of tests to determine its efficacy and safety. But what happens when the results aren't as rosy as the companies would like? Some choose to bury the negative findings, only focusing on the positive results. This skewed portrayal can lead to drugs being deemed safer and more effective than they actually are. So, we've lifted the veil on the darker side of pharmaceuticals: price gouging, unethical marketing, and research suppression. These aren't just business tactics, they impact real people, real lives. So it seems that the road to health isn't as straightforward as we thought. It's a winding path, filled with obstacles and hidden traps. But by shining a light on these issues, we can begin to navigate this dark alley with our eyes wide open. But who suffers the most when these industries prioritize profits over people? Let's take a moment to reflect on the impact these practices have on the most vulnerable among us. Imagine being elderly, perhaps living alone or in a retirement home, and relying heavily on your health insurance to cover your medical needs. Now imagine your health insurance company denying your claim for a much-needed medication or treatment. The stress, anxiety, and fear that come with such experiences are unimaginable. Next, picture someone chronically ill, someone who depends on daily medication to manage their condition. What happens when the pharmaceutical companies hike up the prices of these life-saving drugs beyond their reach? The physical pain and emotional distress that come along with such a situation can be incredibly overwhelming. Let's not forget about those without sufficient financial resources. For those living paycheck to paycheck, an unexpected health emergency can be disastrous. When insurance companies deny claims or pharmaceutical companies inflate drug prices, these individuals are often left with two choices: go into debt to cover their medical expenses or forego treatment altogether. Neither option is fair or humane, and it doesn't stop there. These practices also impact caregivers, family members, and loved ones who watch helplessly as their dear ones suffer. They too bear the brunt, emotionally and financially, as they navigate the complexities of the health insurance and pharmaceutical industries. These are not hypothetical scenarios. These are the harsh realities for millions of people today. It's a bleak picture, but it's important to shine a light on these issues. By doing so, we can better understand the human cost behind these profit-driven practices. The elderly, the chronically ill, and those without sufficient financial resources should not be collateral damage in the pursuit of profits. They should not have to choose between financial stability and their health. They should not have to live in fear of being denied the care they so desperately need. The human cost of these practices is too high a price to pay. So where do we go from here? How can we protect ourselves and our loved ones from these practices? These are the questions that many of you might be asking right now. The answers are not simple, but they are attainable. The first step is to arm ourselves with information. Knowledge, as they say, is the first line of defense. When dealing with health insurance, make it a habit to do your homework. Research, and research some more. Understand the ins and outs of your policy. What does it cover? What doesn't it cover? Are there hidden costs or fees? Don't be afraid to ask questions. It's your health, your money, and your peace of mind at stake. Reading the fine print is not just a cliche, it's a necessity. The devil is often in the details, and in the case of health insurance, those details can mean the difference between a stress-free hospital stay and a financial nightmare. And it's not just about health insurance. The pharmaceutical industry also requires our vigilance. When prescribed a new medication, ask about its cost, its side effects, and if there are cheaper alternatives. Sometimes a generic drug can do the same job at a fraction of the cost, but we can't do it alone. We need to push for changes in the system, advocate for transparency in the health insurance and pharmaceutical industries, lobby for stricter regulations and oversight, support organizations that are fighting for consumer rights, and finally, share what you know. Spread the word about these issues. The more people are aware, the harder it will be for these practices to continue. Remember, knowledge is power. Stay informed, stay safe. We're here to help you navigate these tricky waters. And so we wrap up our Undercover expose. We hope you found this information helpful and enlightening, but our journey doesn't end here. There's so much more to explore, to uncover, to understand. Subscribe to our channel to get more insightful videos on finance. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can change the game.